Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi. Want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rahaha Kodash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, hey, shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, right? Shalom. To you sisters, you Yahawashi, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. And this is just an article I did a screenshot on. Right here's science. It's comet, 3-eye atlas, right? Because they're basically saying it was a comet. Spurious reports claim that an alien spaceship might have entered into our solar system, right? It says a comet from another solar system has given rise to reports that it is in fact an alien spaceship, right? So let's look up that word spurious, right? Yeah, so this is online entomology online. Spurious, 1590s, a person born out of wedlock, bastard. The Latin spurious, illegitimate, false, right? So I guess they were saying it was a false report, right? About it being an alien spaceship. But it's definitely a false report of it being a comet, right? That's really ultimately what the false report was. The false report was it being a comet. But they're saying it's an illegitimate claim of this spaceship. But then they turn around, if you look at it, saying that it's indeed a spaceship, right? So let's they got another so-called viewpoint of the AI Atlas. Which that's definitely not a comet, right? Let's see if we can see it one more time.
And the weirdest thing that ever happened to you. Chapter 1. The signal from 3-eye Atlas, breaking the 48-year mystery. Let me walk you through what Avi Loeb discovered. Because when you see the numbers, when you understand the geometry of what happened in 1977, you will realize we are not dealing with cosmic coincidence. We are dealing with something that defies every probability model we have. September 29th, 2025. That is when Loeb published his calculations. The timing matters because 3-eye Atlas is approaching fast, and what he revealed in that paper connects two of the most mysterious events in astronomical history. The WOW signal and this interstellar visitor are not separate mysteries. They are the same mystery, separated by 48 years and hundreds of billions of kilometers. Here is what Jerry Ammon saw that night in August. The Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University was scanning the sky, doing what it always did, listening for patterns in the cosmic noise. At 10:23 p.m. Eastern Time, the telescope locked onto something in the constellation Sagittarius. The signal strength jumped, not a little jump, a massive spike. The computer recorded it as 6 Equator Yankee Yankee 1K Echo Hotel, a sequence that meant the signal was 30 times stronger than the background noise. Eamon reviewed the printout days later. When he saw those numbers, he grabbed a red pen and circled them. Next to the sequence, he wrote "WOW" with an exclamation point. That margin note became the name, the WOW signal, and for nearly 5 decades it remained unexplained. The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds. That is not random. That is how long it takes for Earth's rotation to sweep a fixed point in space through the Big Ear telescope's field of view. Whatever transmitted that signal was not moving. It was sitting at a specific location in the sky, broadcasting at 1420 megahertz, the frequency of neutral hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. If you wanted to send a signal that any civilization would recognize as artificial, you would use that frequency. It is the cosmic calling card. But here is what made it impossible to explain. The signal never repeated. They pointed every available telescope back at that same spot in Sagittarius.
Yeah, so this is this three-eye atlas, whether it's real or fake, because like now they got this story also. I don't know if you heard, but basically you heard now. If you listen to this lesson, they were saying a signal was coming from outer space or something back in 1970s, right? Yeah, so whether real or fake, this AI atlas, right? Because now they got this story about a signal that was coming from outer space. They think it's coming from the AI atlas from 1977, and you got the Project Blue Beam. You got these things. They're gonna try to deceive the elect, but the elect is not gonna be deceived, right? So it says, Revelation chapter 3, verse 11, behold, I come quickly. That I is who? Yahawashi, right? Come quickly. Hold that fast, which thus hast, that no man take thy crown, right? It says, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, which is the Most High Yahweh, right? And he shall go no more out, right, into slavery, into subjection to all these different things underneath these other nations. And I will write upon him the name of my power, right? So you're gonna have a ranking, which goes into unction, but also I was listening to one of the brothers, the elder, I believe. It went into, I think it was Apostle Ramla, went into, was it noble? Noble also means a ranking, right? So you're gonna be basically you're gonna be noblemen. You're gonna be that's what it says. You are ambassadors of Hamashiach, right? Noble, a ranking, an unction, right? You're gonna know these things. It says basically write upon him the name of my power and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which is basically really a refreshing, but it's going to be, it is new though too, because the Lord said that he's building upon better promises. So it is different than what was before, because it's upon better promises. So it's renew, kainos, like a remodeling, like a refreshing, right? Which came down out of heaven, right? Which is coming out of the chariots, which is the new Jerusalem, coming down from heaven, from my power, and I will write upon him my new name, which is Yahawashi's new name, which is really not new. It's just gonna bring forth what? Power, right? Now you're gonna have that authority, like a stamp. You know, when a king gives you authority, you have the seal, the royal seal, and that's basically what that is. It's like a royal seal. So this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. Except those days should be shortened, and that's the time that we're living in. Time is speeding up, right? As we very well know, right? We're already in November 4th, right? Time is speeding up fast. You know, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect, right? See, the elect is going to be saved, right? They're the ones that's going to be made that pillar in the Lord's temple, right? Shall those days for the elect's sake, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, right? Right? It says, then if any man shall say unto you, lo here, Hamashiach, right? Oh, there's this chariot, and there's this thing, and this AI Atlas, and there's this, and there's this, that, right? Lo here, Hamashiach, or there, believe it not. So he said, oh, look at this. This could be something. This could be something. Hey, believe it not. Right? Because the elect, right, are set to be the pillars, man. Right? For there shall arise false Hamashiach and false prophets, and shall show great signs, right? AI Atlas. Oh my God, this is it's associating this signal, and this signal went all the way back to 1977, and yes, and whoop wop 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 blah blah blah. You know, all these things. So it may or may not be something, but we're waiting on the Lord, right? We're gonna be careful. As the Lord say, be careful that no man take that crown, right? So you got to be careful. You know what I mean? Keep your head on the swivel. We're not just throwing it out for every little sign, every little miracle, just because it's so-called. They say it's in the sign, in the skies, right? It says great signs and wonders, in so much that if it were possible, see, they're gonna show. Oh, this is AI Atlas, and then look what it's doing. It's showing this signal, and here, look at these videos, and look at this the imagery that we say we have gotten, right? So it says, in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect, which basically it's not possible, right? Because we know the chariots, we know what's going to happen, man. This is Revelation chapter 1 verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. See, not because you're showing us some videos and some type of clips, and you're saying this madness of your science, and this sound wave that's been around since 1977, and oh yeah, now it goes back to AI Atlas, and it goes this and this, you know, all these, you know, ever since this whole AI Atlas, I've been not to what you call them, trying to jump to credit this thing to be actually a chariot. You know, I've been more on the stance that this is one of those, you know, Project Bluebeam, or one of these little tricks that Esau is going to do to try to panic the people, right? Because there's several ways it looks like he's trying to panic the people. You know, the whole EPT thing, which, hey, who, you know, who knew that was a big deal, right? You went through your whole life, and people talk, man. Oh, I pay my taxes. I pay you. I pay for you to eat. But you didn't realize that actually affects everyday circumstances, right? So, but who knew? See, but people are starting to panic, right? So he's gonna release half the funds or whatever it is, and yeah, things are happening, man. Right? You got the stock market doing crazy different things where it's going up and down at the same time. You're getting record highs and then record lows all at the same time during the stock market and different stocks. So something's not right. Things are off. Panicking. Trump's losing his support, right? People not in agreement with him. His how do you say it? Approval record is low, showing you that with the wicked and ruler, the people mourn, right? But it says what? Every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. See, you're gonna all know the time when the chariots show back up, man. You're gonna know when the second coming of Yahawashi is. You're not gonna have to say, look over here. I think this is the Messiah. Wait, over here. No, every eye shall see him, man. And they which pierced him, right? And the Lord's gonna give them that, maybe even put into their mind that they were those people, those men, right? You know, plague their mind with it real quick. Even him that pierced him, even they which pierced him, Slakia. It says, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail, right? They're gonna be, man. You're gonna know when it's time. You're not just, oh, it's a cute little spaceship, and oh, you're saying, no, everyone's gonna wail because of him. Even so, Aman, right? Even so, come, Lord, right? I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end, saith the outer one, the Kairis, Yahawashi, Hamashiach, right? Which is, and which was, and which is to come, right? It's the second coming. It says, the Almighty, right? Dealing with, the Alahims, man, right? So this is Isaiah chapter 31, verse 4. For thus saith Yahweh, right? The Most High, Yahweh, right? And of course, to his only begotten Son, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakodash, spoke unto me like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey, right? So that's why you're gonna wail because of him. You're gonna wail when he shows up. You're gonna wail. He's coming back for war. He's coming back very for his vengeance, right? You're gonna fear as a lion, a young lion roaring on his prey, when a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him. He will not be afraid, seeing Yahawashi, and that's basically what you're gonna do. You're gonna call all the nations are gonna be fighting against each other, but you're gonna put aside your fighting and come together to come against Yahawashi. Just like was it Reagan? I believe it Ronald Reagan. He said the same thing, right? So they know that something's coming from space, right? They already know. That's what Ronald Reagan said. If there be a being that come from space, wouldn't we put aside our differences and fight against it? And yes, you are, right? But guess what? He's not. He will not be afraid, but you will. It says that you should be afraid and durst fight, right? He will not be afraid of their voices, right? The great multitude of military, that you're gonna have, nor abase himself for the noise of them, right? The shooting, all the different laser weapons and things you're gonna be trying to shoot at Yahawashi. He's not gonna shoot and just bow down. Oh, let me bow down. Nah, ain't gonna be no bowing down, man. Right? So shall Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, right? It's coming with that military. Come down to fight for Mount Zion, right? Which is the elect, and for his hill thereof, right? Which is Israel, the land of Israel, right? It says, as birds flying, so will Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, defend Jerusalem, right? Starting with the elect, where people before place, but the Lord's also we're gonna get back that land too, the land that belongs to us. Defending also, he will deliver, right? The elect, deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it, right? Which even though Israel is going to be destroyed, the land ain't going to be desolate the way America is. It's going to be able to be built back up, right? It's going to be able to, and also what preserve the elect, right? Yeah. So this is Luke 21, verse 27. Says, and when and then shall they see the Son of Man, which is Yahawashi, right? The whole world is going to see him. Every eye shall see him, coming in a cloud with power and great glory. See, that's the time that's fastly approaching, right? And they know it, so they got to probably come up with some type of, thing that's going to shake up the people. But those are for the people who don't know what's going on. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, right? See, so they kind of know these things that people are starting to look up, via through the scriptures, But some people don't know what they're looking at, so they have to try to give you, pseudo. Everything's them is pseudo, either pseudoscience or pseudo miracles, right? Right, which a lot of their miracles deal with their science, but they have to they have to give you some type of a false narrative, right? Right. That's why they deal with a lot of a bunch of false positives, right? It looks like a good thing, but overall, it's going to destroy you. That's these people. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. See, and that's what we're here for, right? The elect, Lord willing, be part of that number. Hopefully, Lord willing, And he spake to them a parable. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. The fig tree and all the trees, when they now spring forth, when they now spring forth, ye see and know of your own selves what that summer is now nigh at hand, right? So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of the power, right, of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi is nigh at hand. So this is the time that we're living in, right? Yeah, so this is Zechariah chapter 5, verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll, right? Which they have these things that they talk about, the tic tac, right? Right? They send these the chariots that they seen, which is kind of about the same thing, almost like a oval or whatever type shape, right? And it says, and he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits, which is a pretty decent size, right? You know, yeah, I believe they've said something about a cubit. A cubit is some say 20. Some things I've seen said 20 inches, and then other ones say 18. So it's roughly anywhere between 18 to 20 inches, right? And then it says 20, so that's 20 times, right? And the breadth thereof is 18 to 20 inches, 10 times going lengthwise, right? I mean, body wise, wide, width wise, right? So it's a pretty decent size. It says, then said he unto me, this is the curse, right? See, and that's why you gotta be wary about when Esau can't wait to show you this information, especially when the chariots is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, right? So it's not going to be a great thing, and you ain't going to be wanting, oh, I can't wait to see the chair. Yeah, it's a curse. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for these people, right? For everyone that stilleth, right? And that's what Esau's done, right? And then the nations, what they were drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? Right? Fornication goes to being, like lying in bed with someone. They call it fornication. So this is they have a business term too, where they say you were in bed with them, right? Which is talking about business wise, and that's what these nations were. They were committing fornication with her. They were in bed with America in business. So they're going to get it too. They're part of that theft. They got to get cut off. And for everyone that stilleth shall be cut off, as on this side according to it. So yeah, all the nations are going to lose your power, right? You're going to lose your position. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off, as on that side according to it, right? And no one swears more than Esau Edom, right? They swear upon the Bible. They they swear that they're they're everybody else but Esau, man. Yeah, they could be any, you know, So that in itself, right? Because a swear really ultimately goes with an oath too, right? Because when was it 1984? I believe I forgot what president it was, but he declared, or is it 83 or 84? He declared America, um, declared the Bible to be America's book. So that's like an oath. You swore. So those that means this law, statutes, commandments apply, right? Not to mention, I mean, you got the children of Israel in here, but yeah, you swore, and you have to keep those oaths, those swear when you make a thing. You have to keep your word, and you haven't kept it, right? Well, matter of fact, let's wait. Yeah, let's let's go. Because matter of fact, it says, "And I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Kakadash of hosts, and will enter into the house of the thief." Right? See, and that's this place, America, Babylon the Great. Right? This is the house of the thief. Right? And it says, and enter into the house of him that sweareth falsely, right? you know, you know. I mean, everything you say is falsely. The medicine, your medical industry is false. Your judicial system, your democracy is false, right? Your love for sweet Jesus is false, right? You don't love thy neighbor as yourself, right? You don't even love your own fellow Edomite as yourself, which you don't even believe in the Bible, right? Especially dealing with the elites, right? But the average, everyday, blue collar Edomite don't believe in the scriptures, man. He don't love his neighbor, right? So it's all false, right? From your elite all the way down to the common little Edomite, man. You're false. You swear falsely by my name, right? By the scriptures, right? You say you believe in the Bible. You say you believe in these different things. You believe in equality. You believe in this and that. And until it seems like your thing is not working out the way you wanted it to work out, right? The melting pot until until there's nothing to the melting doesn't suit you. Though you heap it unto you all people, right? Now it's not fitting. It's not fitting you. Now you want to you want to bring in what do you call it? South Africanus, right? Putting forth taxpayers' money to save them, right? Meanwhile, kill the brown and the black and the so-called brown and so-called black people, which are Israelites, by the way, which you're gonna have to pay for touching the apple of the Most High's eye. See, but you swore by it. You say you swore by the name of the Lord. That's an oath. You're making an oath by the name of the Lord. It says, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber, right? Everything in this place is going to get burned up, man. Thereof, and the stones. Yeah. Yeah, the timber thereof and the stones thereof, right? Yeah, this place is going to be a man. The Lord said that it shall melt. It shall melt. The elements shall melt with fervent heat, man. Right? Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 8. It says, after many days, thou shall be visited. So, hey, basically, you're at the end of your rulership, right? As the scripture says, that you have a bounds that you cannot cross, right? It says in the latter years, right? The Lord's coming to visit, and now we're here. We're in the latter years, right? We're in the time of the end of your rulership. So the Lord is coming. Yahawashi is coming to visit, right? In the latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, right? Because this is dealing with Israel, the land of Israel, where you Israelis are at, right? Because it's dealing with Russia. Russia's gonna come against that land, right? Which are Edomites, right? Which is basically in that part of the land. It's going to be the valley of Yahawashi. World War III is going to be in that, over in that region, right? And Russia and Iran and stuff is going to destroy the land of Israel, right? But not to the point that it's uninhabitable or unable to be built back up, because it will be built back up, which had been always waste, right? But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them, right? Right. So that's the time that the elect of Yahawashi will be safe, right? Yeah. So there's Ezekiel chapter 38 and 8. It says, after many days thou shalt be visited, right? You're going to be visited by Yahawashi, Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi, in the latter years. So we're here. We're in the latter times, the end of Esau's kingdom, right? Right. So this is basically talking about the Russians coming against you Edomites who say that you're you fulfill prophecy somehow, right? Being in that land, right? And it says so thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people. It says against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them, right? You have all the elites. The elites are going to go in their bunkers. They're going to be safe, but hey, the land is going to be it's going to be pretty desolate. They're going to come upon this place, right, which is dealing with Gog of Magog, right, which is Russia and Persia, right? They're going to come a war against it. Says thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, right? and many people with thee, right? Which talk about them coming against the land of Israel, right? Where you know, the Mossad, or so that, what they call them, right, is going to get, you know, they're going to lose in the war. They're going to lose. They're going to lose badly, right? But this is just showing forth that the Lord is coming to visit, you know, the world, and these are the things that's going to be happening. World War III is it's a part of it, man. Right? Yeah. And when Yahawashi come, Yahawashi is coming with an angelic power and his glory, right? His Father's glory, which the Father gave him the glory. So, man, so all things are already subjected underneath him. He's coming to just to take it, you know. It says Isaiah chapter 47, verse 3. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered," right? You Edomites, man, your nakedness is going to be uncovered, man. Right? All your vulnerabilities and your intents and things like that. People are gonna know who you are, what you were all about, right? And people are gonna be glad that Yahawashi is coming to take you down, take you out, right? Yea, thy shame shall be seen. See, and once people see these things, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, see, yeah," because people know the government ain't is no good, and they could point the finger at other governments, but they're all wicked, right? But the most wicked is here, Babylon the Great, right along with those the small hats, right? You know. So it says, I will take vengeance, see, and that's what the Lord's coming to do, and will not meet thee as a man, see, and that's where it's coming. As for our Redeemer, which is Yahawashi, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi of hosts, is his name, the Holy One of Israel, right? See, and that's what's that's basically what's taking place in these latter years, right? You're gonna go to war against yourself, right? Russia against Israel, against America, because the least of the flock is gonna draw you out. So when Russia comes in against Israel, America's gonna have to try to defend Israel. So you're gonna have all these different countries coming together fighting World War III. But in the midst of you fighting World War III, it says 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 6. It says, "But I beheld, and lo," which means to look, feast your eyes to look, pay attention, right? "He had given himself a great mountain and flew upon it," right? So we know that when you're dealing with mountains don't fly, basically. So you're talking about a gigantic spaceship, right? It's huge. Even this whole depiction of the AI Atlas that they're trying to say, they said it's supposed to be the size of Manhattan. So if it's legitimately a spaceship, we're saying those are the angels, and it's not coming for peace, right? It's coming for war, right? And it's going to be a terror or curse that goes through the whole earth, right? And Yahawashi is going to be on a big fathership, so big it's like a mountain, right? But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was griven, right? Cutting out, carved, right? And could not, right? Where does this place just rise from? Where did it come from? But it came out from the heavens, from the Shemaims, right? In fact, let's see, let's get it. What is it? It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, right? That it moved all the waves, right? The people, right? The sky, everything thereof. It says, but I would. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, right? Which is the angels. Yahawashi is coming with bands and bands of angels, right? Thousands of heaven, and when he turned his heavens, meaning what? Where did he come from? The heavens, the Shemaims, the waters from above, right? He turned his countenance and looked, all things trembled that were seen under him, right? That's that bewailing. When every eye shall see him, they shall be well, right? It says, skip down. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. See, that's what's going to happen. You're going to tremble and be sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And the Lord's going to cause you, put the spirit on you to fight anyway. And lo, which means to look, feast your eyes, look, pay attention, as he saw the violence of the multitude, right? That's that's the noise, was said before, the noise of the multitude. That's the waves, the noise of you trying to make noise, you trying to make a wave, you trying to do your thing, trying to fight, shoot your laser weapons and whatever other things you have came up with, right? Using your different drones or whatever to try to fight against the Lord, right? The violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, a concentrated laser beam fire from the chariots, from what they call UFOs, UAPs, which are really the chariots or the vehicles of Yahweh Bashem Yahawashi. And out of his lips, which is really talking about the chariot, out of the lips of the chariot, a flaming blast, and out of his tongue, which is still talking about the chariot, the vehicle. It's not actually talking about his actual mouth. And right, people took pictures, drew pictures of of a hippie Edomite with an actual sword coming out of his mouth. No, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the chariots, the UFOs, right? Sword represents a killing instrument, and it's going to have concentrated laser beam fire. That's going to be a blast, right? And a flame out of the lips, out of his lips, a flaming breath, right? Right, which like that nuclear wind, right? The beast, like it's gonna be like the beast of destruction, right? And out of his tongue, he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire and flaming breath and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Hey, Kahaloyim Yahweh Bashim Yahawashi Basham Rakak Wadashre. Hey, the elect says the elect was affrighted and was saved. Hey, so with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi Bahasham Rakak Hakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, you Akhwathiim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and a Bible ball, Kwam Yasharallah.